Okay, so I will just start to share the screen with you. Okay, and like you see on the screen, today our visit will be, our first station will be in Sarovara. Many people start Govardhan Parikram in Dangati, which is at Govardhan Place. But for many of us who are Gaudiya Vaishnav, we start our Parikram in Radhakund because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first discovered Radhakund, and then from there he started to do his Govardhan Parikram. So today the station will be Kushum Sarovar. In the beginning, we will have a little introduction because living in Braj, like it was mentioned in the beginning, I think on my Facebook page, that it is recommended to live in the Holy Dhama, if not physically, at least mentally. But even one can be physically in the Holy Dham, but be mentally somewhere else. So to be in the Holy Dham mentally is actually the most important things. And that will be really the aim of our program, that we can absorb our consciousness into the Holy Dham and into the pastimes of the Lord that happened in those Holy Dhams. Living in Braj or living in the Holy Dham is one of the Panchanga Bhakti, one of the main items of Bhakti. We have 5 main. One is hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, chanting the holy name, associating with Vaishnavas, worshipping the deity, and to live in the Holy Dham. Those are the 5 very important angas of Bhakti. We will do so to be in the Holy Dham in our mind. We will hear about what happened there. We will see pictures, so we will have 2 senses engaged, the hearing and the seeing. But we will do a lot also with our mind, because we need to be there in our mind. So we will offer obeisances into our mind. Sorry. Yeah, in case it doesn't come here. Let's see. We will offer obeisances in our mind. We will have meditation. We will do a lot of things with our mind to really learn to use our mind in this way in Krishna consciousness. Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur was saying that there are 2 main things in Krishna consciousness. One is called Anartha Nivriti, which is like we uproot all the bad stuff in our heart. We are introspective, we see the anarthas and we pray for removal, we work on ourselves. But he will say there is also Artha Pavriti, which is hearing about the Lord, so that we actually develop attachment to the Lord. Very often in our ISKCON community, we focus much more on Anartha Nivriti and on the philosophy. It's not so often that we have a lot of hearing about the Lord and remembering the Lord. So this program will be a little bit particular in that sense, that we will mainly focus on hearing about the Lord and remembering Him. We will also have some points of philosophy together. We will have principles of pilgrimage. We will have hopefully a good mixture between all those different aspects of Krishna consciousness. Now, remembering the Lord, thinking of the Lord, one might think, yeah, that's already something advanced. Maybe some of you are few years in Krishna consciousness, and something might be a little bit new about this principle of meditating about Krishna and his pastimes. So don't worry for that. It's totally safe. It might be a little bit more difficult because when we are more new in Krishna consciousness, our consciousness might be a little bit more loaded with material impressions. And when we want to meditate, it might be a little bit more difficult than after many years of sadhana and spiritual practice, when our consciousness might be a little bit more more clear. But because we will hear and we will see picture, even if one is a little beginner, it will be actually very easy to enter into the meditation. At least that's what I hope. I would request you, if it's possible, to have during this session to maybe take some notes of whatever is actually touching your heart, some small details, some information, even some points that you think, oh, this is for me at this time of my life. This is something I need to work on. Please take notes so that you can really take most of it from this session. We will try to keep it for 1 hour. I will try to see that we keep it for this time. But then for those of you who want to stay a little longer, we can have also sometimes for sharing, for discussions, or for questions, or for little sangha between each of us. Okay, so today we are going to Kusuma.
Yes, Vladimir.
Yeah, it's good if you can. Yeah, super. Thank you, Ekanti, and welcome also to the group. So today we will start with one quote. We are in Kusum Sarovara, and this is a quote from Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And maybe we could ask Ayatakshi if you like to read this quote.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Very happy to read. I know Kusuma Sarovara to be very favorable for the blissful pastimes of the divine couple. It is a transcendental stimulant, udipaka, for intensifying the Lord's charming pastimes. And I refuse to go anywhere if such a stimulants of devotional service are not there, for to abandon them is to abandon life itself.
Thank you. So this is Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentioning Kusum Sarovar as a place very, very favorable for Radha and Krishna's divine pastimes. It is also very intimate pastimes that take place there. And because of that, it is said that actually Kusum Sarovar is the heart of Giriraj. I was once, when I was beginning of my Krishna consciousness, walking there at Kusum Sarovar, and I met the mother of one of our devotees from Golokadam, Shyamala. Her mother was actually a Brijbasi living in Kusum Sarovar, and she stopped me on the path and she said, "Do you know where you are? You are right at the heart of Giriraj Govardhan." So because this place is actually favorable for the blissful and intimate pastimes of the divine couple. It is a transcendental stimulant, so it will stimulate our Krishna consciousness. And like Bhaktivinoda Thakur say, I refuse to go anywhere else where there is no stimulant for devotional service. So we will see now one principle of pilgrimage. And there it's actually a story that took place in Kusum Sarovar, the time when the British were still in India. And it happened that one of the boss of the British people wanted to do some hunting around Govardhan. So all the saintly people, they came to him and they say, "You cannot hunt here." And the British men say, "Why not?" And they say that because the animals that you will hunt, maybe they are actually great saints, and you will have a big problem for killing actually saints which are in the form of animals. So they could not actually convince the British, because he did not have faith in all those things. But they told him, at least you can hunt from the outside ring of Giriraj. Don't go into the inside ring, but outside you can hunt, but not in the inside ring. So he went trying to hunt in the outside ring, but there was just no animals. And he could see all the animals were in the inside rings. So he engaged people with tambour and wombers and to make noise in the inner part, so the animals would go to the outside part so that he could hunt them. But even after doing that, he just could not find any animals into the outer ring. But one day he saw a deer, like we see here on the picture, which was on the outside ring. So he shot at the deer, and he could catch the deer at the feet place. And then when the deer was shot, she moved toward the inner ring, and the blood was coming out of her leg, and she just managed herself into the inner ring. So the British men just ran after the deer and crossed and went into the inner ring, and there he saw a sadhu who was bleeding from his feet. And the British man was looking everywhere, where is the deer, where is the deer, but could not find anything. So he asked the British man, he saw he was bleeding. He said, "What do you have?" And he said, "Oh, I was stepping on a thorn and I got hurt like this." So the British man said, "Don't worry, I will send one of my doctors, they will take care of you." And he continued looking for the deer. And then when the doctor came, they saw that actually the sadhu was hurted by a bullet. That was actually what the British men had shot. And then the men understood, actually, what I heard from the sadhu is true. Those are not just normal animals, those are saintly people. And he actually, even today, there is a sign in Kusum Sarovar that hunting is forbidden. And I heard, I have to look again. I did not see it this time when I went, but I heard it's even written also in English and in Hindi that hunting is totally forbidden in all the area of, I think, even of Mathura. I will check it out the next time we get the chance to go there. So the principle of pilgrimage that we take today from this story is that everyone in the Holy Dhama is very special. We should not judge anyone, even not animals, from the external covering of the bodies. We know that Raghunathas Goswami also in, what is this book we were learning from? Upadeshamrita, also there is a verse saying we should actually not distinguish different devotees according to the if they have a handicapped body or if they are from a low-class family. So this is something very important. We should be extremely careful in the Dham, because in the Dham, even the trees, the birds, the animals might all be very saintly people. And here I have a very nice verse I would like to share with you, and I will ask Dejan, maybe if you can read this verse. This is from Radhara Sudhanidhi, verse 265.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Even cruel sinners from saintly person will refuse to see or talk with, become great saints if they live in wonderful, glorious, charming Vrindavana. They attain transcendental forms that give bliss to the kings of the yogis. When I see them, I know in my heart that they should be worshipped with great care. Radharasa Sudha Nidhi.
Thank you. Thank you. So Prabodhananda Saraswati, we will have him every time, and he's a big lover of Raj. And even in Radhara Sudhanidhi, he's speaking so often of Sri Vrindavan Dham, of the Yamuna. And here he said that even cruel sinners, I mean, cruel sinners means really bad people, if they stay in Vrindavan, which is wonderful, glorious, and charming, they will actually become great saints. And in their spiritual transcendental form, they will give bliss to the king of yogi. And that's Sri Krishna. And when I see them, I know in my heart that they should be worshipped with great care. So this is the principle we take today, principle of parikram, to be actually very, very careful the way we deal with every living entity in the Holy Dham, because we don't know who they are. They might be very powerful and spiritual entities that can give us a lot of blessings. So we actually enter into a mood of humility and be very careful to not disturb or offend anyone. So now we are entering more into Kusum Sarovar, and now we will offer obeisances, because when we go to the Holy Dhama, the most important is to be in the mood of humility. And there also in Vrindavan Mahimamrita, Prabodhananda Saraswati, we so often say you have to tolerate millions of abuse, tolerate thirst, tolerate kicks by people, everything you have to tolerate and remain humble and still keep glorifying the Holy Dhama and Radha and Krishna. So we need absolutely to enter the Holy Dhama in the mood of humility. And for that, we will now offer obeisances by going down on the floor. If some of you want to do it physically, you can, but you can also do it mentally by folding your hands. You see here a very beautiful picture of the dust of Vrindavan. So you can close your eyes or you can look at the picture, and in your mind, we will offer obeisances. You know, we can do a lot of things with our minds. Like, for example, even when we chant japa, we can often do many things with our mind. We can repair something, we can cook, we can speak to someone. We can do that even without forcing ourselves. When we chant japa, we can notice that. So now we will either visualize the dust or either close our eyes, and we can see ourselves in Kusum Sarovar. And now we go down on our knees and we offer our most respectful obeisances. If you wish, you can roll a little bit on the ground from right to left and just feel the transcendental potency of the dust of Vraja that you are touching. You might like to recite the prana mantra of Srila Prabhupada, your spiritual master. And please pray also to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that we will be allowed today to enter the mysteries of Kusum Sarovar, and that our bhakti will be greatly uplifted by this pilgrimage. When you have finished your prayers, you can stay where you are, but you can open your eyes. And now for the next part, we will just see pictures of Kusum Sarovar and hear some nice bhajan in the back. It will take us 2 or 3 minutes. Now is a visualization. We see those pictures, we observe the details, we try to imbibe the mood of the pictures, and after that we will enter to the pastimes that take place in Kusum Sarovar.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Okay, so that was for the little nourishing our visual vision of Kusum Sarovar. And now we will enter into the pastime that is taking place there at Kusum Sarovar. So Kusum Sarovar means, actually Kusum means flower. Sarovar, it's a place where there is a big lake, Kusum Sarovar. So this is a place where there are a lot of flowers. We have to see, maybe someone of you is not muted. If you could just check that everyone is muted. Okay, perfect. So flowers everywhere. Srila Prabhupada will say that flowers are like Krishna's smile. And he will say that also in Kali Yuga, flowers are actually the biggest opulence that we have. And especially in India, flowers are very, very fragrant, and especially during the summer seasons and monsoon seasons. Actually, the pastimes we will have today is taking place from middle October to end of September in this particular month of Bhadra. So imagine Kusum Sarovar, it's actually also called Kusum Van. Van means forest, so it's a flower full of forest, forest full of flowers. So you don't have only flowers in the tree or only flowers on the ground. It's actually everywhere you find flowers. And all those flowers are there for the pleasure, for giving pleasure to the divine couples. And Vrinda Devi had made this forest so beautiful that there are benches and sofas for sitting that are actually matching the colors of the flower. So everything is really done for the pleasure of the divine couple. And there are sub-forests, like smaller forests, where in place you have only bakul trees, and in the other place you have only champak trees, and in another place you have ashok trees. So you have many different sub-forests with different trees and a lot of fragrance. So this is actually very, very beautiful. And there are pathways where you can walk that are made of diamonds, diamond powder. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur mentioned that in this forest, the flowers are eternally in bloom. Not for some months or some months, yes or not. It's actually eternally in bloom, which makes this forest even more attractive than any other forest in the spiritual world. No, sorry, in the planet of the demigods, in the heavenly planets. So this is setting the scene. When I used to live with His Holiness Sachinandana Swami, we were in his ashram in Berlin. And every morning, Maharaj was extremely steady. As soon as he would wake up, he would sit in front of his altar. He would chant japa. He would have a book of prayers next to him to infuse moods and attitude while chanting. And one day I came to his room to ask him for what he would like to have for breakfast and so on and so forth to do my service. And then he told me, you know, Gorahari, if you want to meditate on Radha and Krishna, you need first to meditate on Vrindavan. You must first bring Vrindavan in your consciousness. And then when your consciousness is pervaded with Vrindavan, then you can bring the divine couple in your consciousness. But you have to do that first. You have to first meditate on Vrindavan. That's also why we were looking at the slideshow before. And that's also why we have this first vision of Kusum Sarovar, so that we can enter now more deeply into the pastimes. So in this period, in this month of Bhadra, there is a festival that is called the Sanji Festival. This is a festival where all the Brijvasis, they take a lot of flowers and they will decorate their homes. And they even do a competition of whose home will be most beautiful. So the day of this competition, the gopis wanted to look for flowers, but they did not find any flowers around Varshana. It seems everyone has picked all the flowers already. So they thought, let's go to Kusum Van, because there are always so many flowers. Let's go there and pick up flowers there. So they prepared themselves and they started to walk toward Kusum Van. And the cowboys, they saw all the girls going. They thought, okay, let's go. We get Krishna and we will play some fun with the gopis. We will tease them and we will make some fun with them. So they went to Krishna and they say, hey, the gopis are going there, let's go and let's make some fun. And suddenly Krishna's smiling face transformed into a scene of discomfort. And Krishna said, oh, I have pain in my belly, I have pain in my head, I'm feeling a little sick today. Today you should go out with the cows alone. I'm not able to come. So the cowboys were very sad. They left for the forest, but they forgot the idea of teasing the gopi, because teasing the gopis without Krishna will not make any fun. So they went somewhere else, and Krishna was watching from his window as the cowboys were going away. And then Krishna disguised himself with funny clothes, made a false mustache, and went in the direction of Kusumba. Now, as I'm telling you the pastime, please take notice of any emotions that is happening into the pastimes. That's really the most important. Try to see pictures, but try to feel emotions of what is happening. This is actually very, very beautiful. So by now, we are in Kusum Sarovara. It is very, very early morning, and the gopis have arrived to pick up flowers. So they sing, they have baskets in their hands, and they are picking flowers. And they are absolutely absorbed, deeply, deeply absorbed in their picking flowers. You could say, yeah, you don't need much absorption usually to pick up flowers. It's quite an easy job. But at that time, their absorption is that every flower they take, they meditate, oh, that will be for the crown, flower crown that I will do for Radharani. Oh, that is for the belt that I will make for Krishna. So each flower, they visualize where they will put and how they will do it. By now, they have actually almost forgot about the Sanji festival and the decoration of their house. And they thought that was the best pretext for us to come to Kusum Sarovar and hopefully meet Krishna. So as they are there picking flower, very much absorbed, they separate a little bit themselves. They go to different groves to take flowers. And as they do that, Radharani gets stuck into a thorn bush. We saw in the slideshow there was a good thorn from a thorn bush, and in Vrindavan you have many of them. So she got stuck into a thorn bush, and as she tried to move around to get free, she got entangled to another thorn and another thorn. And as more as she tried to disentangle herself, as more as she got entangled into the thorn bush. And she tried to call for her friends, but they were far and so absorbed in the picking of flowers that no one could hear. And at that time, the so-called gardener came close and started to unhook Radharani's sari with his own hands. And Radharani was looking at this person that she could not recognize, but that seemed to be so familiar and so beautiful and so attractive. And when she was freed from the thorn, she was actually spellbound. She was spellbound, and she slowly started to walk backwards, away from that personality. And as she walked away, slowly, the bushes became in front, and the person disappeared. And Radharani was just stunned by what had just happened and by the beauty of this gardener, until her friend came close and said, Radha, now we have all our flowers, let's go back to Vashana. But Radharani looked at them and she said, I was hooked in a thorn bush, but person came, unhooked me, but hooked my heart. And then she fainted and fell on the ground. So the gopis took the veil of their saris and they started to fan Radharani so that she could come back to consciousness. And when she came back to consciousness, they told Radharani, let's go now. We have all what happened. Let's forget about what happened with you and this gardener. Let's not now just go. And Radharani said, no, I'm not going. I want to see this person again. Let's go back to the thorn tree. So they went back to the thorn tree. They were walking and looking everywhere until suddenly they saw this gardener. But this time, the gardener was in a different mood. He was quite fiery. He looked extremely angry. And she said, stop, you are all thieves. And the gopi got really like taken aback, and her heart started to beat very, very strongly. You are stealing my flower. They were confused. But Lalita said, who are you to call us thief? The gardener said, I am Vanamali. I am the owner of this forest. All that is actually my garden. Lalita said, you might be Vanamali, but our Radha, she is Vrindavaneshwari. She is the queen of Vrindavan, and we have no rule to follow anywhere. We can pick up flower everywhere we want. The gardener said, are those flowers the fruits of your labor? Did you give water to those gardens? Did you take care? How can you say that this belongs to your Vrindavaneshwari? I am the gardener. I'm taking care of all of that. And you are not allowed to take those flowers. But you, and then he pointed to Radharani, he said, you are the thief because your body has stolen all the beautiful things that you can find in the forest of Vrindavan. Krishna said, you are defoliating my forest by taking away all the flowers. King Kamadev will be very angry at you. The gopis start to laugh. They say, defoliating your forest? When you come here with millions of cows that are eating up all the flowers, you are the one defoliating the forest. But Krishna said, no, 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 no. I'm not in fault because I do that under the order of the king. So I am faultless. But the gopis, actually here, by now, it's a great quarrel. They are actually quarreling with each other. It's done in the teasing way. And actually lovers like to tease each other, but they are still quite fiery. And then at that time, Krishna said, I'm actually faultless. And the gopis said, come on, you are faultless. You were killing Putana, you were killing a woman. You steal butter in the house of the Brijvasis, and you even killed a bull. And you say you are faultless. You are just a liar. It's not true. And at that time, the gopis saw that under the kurta of the gardener, they saw a little part that was shining, and they saw that there was actually a flute. And they understood that actually this false gardener was no one else than Krishna in disguise. And they say, this is not Vanamali, this is not the gardener of this forest, this is Van Bihari, this is the Lord of the forest, this is our Lord of the forest. And everyone, the entire forest, included the animals, burst into a big laughter. And now the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, became very humble because he had been discovered. He had been discovered. Krishna looked around uneasy to get relieved from his embarrassment. The gopis surrounded him and started to tease him, adding fuel to the fire of his humiliation. The gopi said, tie him up, throw him in jail. But merciful and sweet-hearted Radharani came and she said, we have to give him a punishment. Let's give him a punishment to retire my hairs nicely that had been disheveled by all this morning adventure in Pushpavan. This will be the punishment that we will give to Krishna. And here I will give now the voice to Vajayanti, who will continue the pastimes that took place after that.
Yes, so Krishna was very excited, actually, very happy. Now he had the honor actually to render a service for Radharani. So they all entered together in this beautiful forest where there were many pavilions with flower arches, there were dancing vines, and many jewel lamps also. Radharani then was sitting. In front of her was a golden table where there were many combs, many brushes, many jewels, all what was needed to decorate Radharani's hair. And meanwhile, Krishna, as we say, was very excited now because this actually, it's the greatest thing for him is the service of Srimati Radharani. And so he was almost trembling, and he had a big basket full of flowers, all the different flowers from the forest. And as he came, he was followed by many parrots, by many cuckoos, and all around in the forest, there were many peacocks. They were all looking at the scene, and they were all dancing and singing beautifully. And meanwhile, also they had prepared beautiful and wonderful refreshments and snacks also for Srimati Radharani. As Srimati Radharani, she was very amused. She was looking at how Krishna was preparing all the paraphernalia for the service. But unfortunately, as we say, because Krishna, even he's the one who's holding everything, his hands were trembling. And the only idea that now he was allowed to serve Srimati Radharani. And unfortunately, the basket with the flowers fell on the ground. And then Krishna said, what to do now? And now we have to purify this flower. And then he turns to Lalita and he said, Lalita, do you have any water? But only juices were there. There was no water. Krishna thought maybe I should just go to the Yamuna. But no, there is no time. He was concerned. He said, well, if I go to Yamuna and come back, it might be the radical leave, and I will finally lose this opportunity to serve her. So, thinking for a while, Krishna took his flute, touched the ground, and immediately, like a beautiful lake, manifested. A lake that was full of clear water. There were many jewel fishes in the water and many lotuses. So, without wasting time, Sham goes to the lake, chanted a few mantras, take the water, sprinkle the flowers, and now he moves towards Srimati Radharani with the flowers. Radhi Manjari, meanwhile, was there and removed the veil of Srimati Radharani from her hairs and gives the service to Hari. And Radharani gave the permission with her sidelong glances. So now Krishna was just behind Srimati Radharani and is looking to her hairs. And it is like if when a Brahmana or when a priest is looking to his own deities, because with so much love. And why Srimati Radharani hairs are so beautiful? Actually, it's because she was always thinking of Krishna. And these are actually her hairs are the expression of her love. So she is so much full of love that comes out in the form of her hair, in this blackish blue hair that they look like the Yamuna river. Then Krishna places left hand on the head of Srimati Radharani, and with the right hand he starts to comb the hair of Srimati Radharani, and is making like a beautiful parting them aside with the ivory comb. And then Rupa Manjari comes with a beautiful trail. On the trail, there is a beautiful diamond-studded lotus that will be put on at the end of her braid. She has many jasmine flowers to wove in the braid, and she has also some jewelry to put just in the hairs of Srimati Radharani. But Krishna again was just so full, he was very touched by this opportunity of serving her. So as he was putting this lotus at the end of the braid, he had a lot of drops of perspiration on his forehead. As he was waving the garlands in the braid, his hands were trembling. He was not almost able to do that. And he was also so concerned because he was highly afraid to give any pain to Radharani. And because he was from the back, he could not see also the face of Radharani. Then Krishna, as he finishes his service, he stepped back, look at his service as he's doing, and then he moves in front of Srimati Radharani. And here we have a very beautiful, actually, beautiful scene where Krishna is kneeling in front of Srimati Radharani. He takes all the small flower and now he starts to decorate Srimati Radharani on the face. And yes, this is like a treasure. Many great devotees, they treasure this vision where we have the personification of transcendence that is kneeling before the personification of love to decorate her with flowers. So at the end, Krishna is finished with to do his beautiful service. So the gopis, they hand over a mirror to Srimati Radharani so that she can see the service. So Radharani takes this beautiful mirror to look, but she doesn't look actually to herself. The only thing that she's doing, she's looking at Shyamasundara that is standing just behind her. And then Srimati Radharani speaks to the mirror, and he says, Sham, no one has ever decorated me as nicely as you have done. You are the best. And you can again also imagine how also Shyamasundara was feeling extremely happy. Actually, the whole pastime has been put up finally just for having this opportunity for him to serve Srimati Radharani.
When the service was accomplished, the gopis thought, now we definitely have to go and do our Sanji. Let's go back to Vashana, but I thought now is anyway much too late. We will never be able to decorate anything. So Shyam told them, you go and see all the house of the Brijbasi, which Sanji they did. I will see for your Sanji. So they just believed Shyam and they went to look at all the different houses in Vashana. And when they came to their own house, they saw that actually it was the most beautiful and most elegant Sanji ever. And people said, but we came here 1 hour ago, there was nothing. How did you do that? And then they look on the side, there was a very beautiful dark complexion gopi. And they say, that was the help of our gopi friend that we could do such good Sanji. So this is the end of the pastime. This pastimes is fully depicted like this into a booklet that you can get in Ban Bihari temple, which is just on the side of Kusum Sarovara. And the descriptions of Radharani, Krishna combing Radharani's hair, it was taken by Shivaram Swami Navavraj Mahima book. So we did a compilation of all of that. And now the most important maybe of our whole session today, we will ask you to close your eyes, to take a few deep breaths, and in your mind, please go through the pastimes that you have heard right now. You can visualize yourself there in Kusum Sarovar, in the forest of flowers. And you can start from the beginning that you have heard how Krishna did not want to go with his friends because he pretended to have headache, and so on and so forth. Just go in your mind's eyes. Just remember what you have heard from the beginning to the end. Take your time and try to be attentive to the emotions that were expressed during the pastime. Thank you. You might like to open your eyes. You might also like to not open them and continue meditating. This is something we usually don't do it so often, that we think of Krishna in a, let's say, in a structured way, that we hear about him and then after that we close our eyes and try to see it in our eyes, mind's eyes, and try to remember, oh, this happened, and then this happened, and what were the feeling involved, how it must have looked when Krishna is doing his service to Radharani and he's so excited, how much intensity must be in his heart. And to meditate like this, it's actually the goal of our life. Because I mean, the most important instruction that summarize all the rules and regulation of the scriptures is that we should always remember Krishna and never forget him. So when we do such a type of meditation that are fully backed up by Shastra, that are fully authorized, we are actually not forgetting Krishna, we are trying to think of him. And it has actually a very, very powerful impact into our consciousness. And if we do it in a deep way, then sometimes while we chant the holy name, it will just come to our consciousness in a natural way. And this is actually what we want, that when we chant the holy name, we remember Krishna, we think of Radha and Krishna. So this is also what we do in pilgrimage. We go to those particular holy places, we hear the pastimes, and then we take the time to go deeper inside of ourselves and to remember, and to, because if we don't remember, it doesn't impact the consciousness much. But if we take the time to think, to meditate, to remember, then it has a much deeper impact on our consciousness. And that's exactly what we want in pilgrimage. We want our consciousness to be impacted so strongly that it brings a change into our heart. So that was for today in Kusum Sarovar. Kusum Sarovar has much more. There are many other pastimes taking place, and we were also promising that we would have interview with saintly devotees living in those places. So next time we will still be in Kusum Sarovar, and then after that we will continue in the direction of a Govardhan Parikram. We will have one stop in Narada Kund, one stop in Shyam Kutir, and then we will continue Gwala Kund or Gwalaba Kund. I'm not 100% how it's called. Anyway, we'll go slowly to each place of pilgrimage, and we will more or less take the same frame as today of hearing pastimes. We will all the time have some verses about glorifying Vrindavan and some principles of pilgrimage that we want to learn. And yeah, let's hope it works nicely, and that you are all nicely nourished, and we are all nicely nourished by this experience, and that it's very much nourishing. The idea is that we can nourish each other nicely with this experience. So I think now we must have reached around 1 hour of went good into the course, and I'm very happy if you want to stay a little longer, if you have some questions or some comments, or like to share a little bit how was the experience for you. I think it's nice that we have a little time especially for that. I will put on gallery so I can see. Yeah, Vital, Prabhu. Actually, I think if I put on, let's keep sharing this. I keep sharing the screen because if I have the view of every one of you, the internet is getting too low. Vital? Vital, I cannot really hear you. Can you check if you are speaking close to the microphone, or if everything is all right with your microphone.
Hare Krishna, now can you hear?
Yeah, very good. Now it's perfect.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so first of all, thank you very much to you and Vaijanti Mataji for this great initiative. Yeah, I know it takes a lot of efforts and hard work to take pictures and then collect related pastimes and putting everything in order. It's great, I'll say, service to whole community. So thank you very much. Uh, During this I'll say 1 hour, I understood that everyone living in Vraj is sadhu, whether it's devotee or human being, trees, animals, insects, birds, everyone. So my question is, if we stay, because I somewhere heard or read that we should not live in Vraj more than 3 days, because if we live more than 3 days in Vraj, then we take things in granted, and then we try to make some kind of offenses to those who are living in Vraj. So, for example, if we are living in Vraj and then there might be some physical discomfort, let's say some mosquitoes or some kind of insects, yeah, try to bite us during night, then we try to kill them in some other way. So, how we should take this?
Okay, thank you. It's a very good question. It's actually, I heard one friend was telling me that this question had been asked to Bhaktivikash Swami about staying in Vrindavan and making offenses and like this. And Bhaktivikash Swami was saying that if you make offenses, you will take birth again in Braj as a monkey or as a pig or as a different species, but after that you will go back to Godhead. So it's not so bad, not so bad in one sense. But of course, this is as long as we stay in the Holy Dhama, as more as we have to keep. My spiritual master would always say you have to keep Vrindavan secret. That means you need to all the time remember that actually all the living entity around you are very, very special, and that you have to all the time be in the mood of humility, the mood of respect, and in that way. Now, regarding mosquitoes, there is, oops, yeah, just have to, my battery is almost dying. You have to plug the thing. Regarding mosquitoes, there was once the question, Srila Prabhupada was massaged by, I'm not sure if it was Giriraj Swami or which devotee was massaging Prabhupada. No, it's not on. Do it again. It worked a little, but then it stopped. No, not now. Move a little. We are in India, so the socket is not always. Okay, let me do. Okay, don't touch anymore. Okay, it works. So I think Giriraj Swami was massaging Srila Prabhupada, and there was a mosquito in the mosquito net. They were in a mosquito net getting the massage. And Giriraj, or I don't remember exactly who was, tried to kill the mosquito. And then Prabhupada said, don't kill him. It's a special being to be like this in the Holy Dhama. I'm not sure if it was in Vrindavan or Mayapur. But then the devotee continued to do the massage. And then Srila Prabhupada said, now he's attacking, you can kill him. So there was if it can be dangerous, like for example, there is dengue fever around or like this, then it's okay that you use the all-out device so that there is no mosquito in the room or like this. But you will never do it just to make fun, or like a child who would harm an animal just for fun or like this. So in such a circumstance, it's okay. Sometimes also one get in situation in the Holy Dhama that are a little challenging with people who cheat you and like this. But that's definitely something one needs to learn to actually feel that it is all right to be cheated. They have their right to cheat us. They are living there and we are just visiting, so it's okay. And in such a way. But for me, what helps most is no? we are in a dilemma with our charging device, or try to take it a little out.